Okay, so that wraps up the main focus of this content of these lectures. What I want to end on is kind of a personal example. So I introduced this topic of misophonia at the very beginning of the semester and a little bit early on in this lecture. Misophonia is a new kind of not well-known disorder, if you will. And so it's kind of been an interesting roller coaster in my own personal research, trying to diagnose this, trying to advocate for inclusion in the DSM, trying to figure out therapeutic treatments. So just as a kind of example, there was researchers who proposed diagnostic criteria for how to define misophonia. So they said if we were to put it in the DSM, here are the 6 things that should be present. However, I didn't like that. I took some problem to some of the phrases that they used. So I have since submitted a paper to, I've done a couple experiments to try to counteract some of these stipulations, advocating that the sound did not need to be a human being sound. It didn't need to be something like eating or breathing. So I've since submitted this paper where I've included stipulations about how we should instead diagnose it in the DSM, showing that, you know, it could be kind of problematic if you fail to diagnose individuals because of this narrow guideline. And it's been an interesting experience because I've had various, you know, professors in the clinical area kind of warn me that, again, the DSM is bloated and it's advised to not keep adding things. So instead, we should try to figure out where misophonia fits into something else, or instead not name it at all and just kind of treat the underlying similar symptoms as something else. It's been an interesting experience, kind of, you know, reteaching this lecture and watching the parallels with my own work. So along with that, I've been advocating, for instance, for misophonia to be considered a well-known labeled thing. There's been a recent push to add a variety of things to the DSM. So just to kind of give you some examples, there's been a recent push to have internet gaming disorder be classified as a thing, caffeine use disorder, compulsive buying disorder, work addiction, classifying that as a disorder, exercise addiction in particular, gambling disorder. So these are various things that don't currently, I believe, exist in the DSM that are under the category of like more research is needed and may potentially be added officially. So what I want to leave you with is to think about kind of something I posed at the beginning. Where is the line as far as what kind of disorders we should be adding, whether these types of situations classify as a disorder or just more extreme of a normal behavior? Is there a line? Should we just add every possible thing that we can in order to, you know, normalize it, create a consistent way of conceptualizing it, like we mentioned some of the pros at the beginning? What are your thoughts on seeing these types of disorders that are being researched and advocated to being added? There's no right or wrong answer here. It's kind of just an interesting debate in the field. So with that, I'm done. We're going to wrap up. So thank you for bearing with me. That was a long chapter, and I'm going to dig up some various like videos and things to help you make more sense and differentiate these various disorders. Let me know if you have any questions, and I will see you at our next synchronous review. Bye, guys.